Jess Glynne,
hello.
It's nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
I think it's the first time at Radio Regenbogen here for you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But we had some other guests you might know, Clean Bandit, a while ago, and I'd like to read out to you what they said about you. If it's okay
go for
you.
it. Yeah.
And they said, at first, Rather Be was just a song, but then we heard Jess Glynne and she brought the diversion. Her voice is just great. And I think they're right.
That's so sweet.
What do you feel about that?
Oh, it's so sweet of them. You know, it was so special, you know, to work with them. And that song obviously is very close to home. So yeah, it's amazing to hear that.
Okay. Are you good with getting compliments? Because
No.
I'm always awkward.
No, I'm so awkward. Yeah, I'm terrible. I mean, I'm very grateful, but I'm not very good at taking them.
Me neither. Do you remember, like, the best compliment you ever received? Like, where you felt it was honest and something that touched you?
Yeah.
Maybe from
the best
fans,
one ever.
but or
I think
from
sometimes,
family,
like, you know, when I have a fan that, you know, says, like, say I meet a fan and they're like, you know, you've changed my life. Your music has done, you know, whatever it's done for me, and you're amazing, and da-da-da-da. That's probably like when I've had the most like, whoa, don't know how to take it kind of thing. Because obviously, you know, when you write music or when you write a song or you put like a song out, I don't know how to explain it, but I can't imagine what it's like for someone to get my CD and put it on, you know? It feels like that's not me. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then, so when you get that, it's kind of like, it feels like I'm an out-of-body experience. Yeah. It's weird. It's amazing though.
But they share some experiences with you.
Yeah.
Like,
but weirdly though. Yeah. Because obviously it's weird. It's really weird. It's amazing though.
Okay, but what touches you is when they write that they can share personal experiences.
Yeah.
And the story behind.
Exactly, yeah. When they, you know, when somebody says to me, you know, I got a message the other day going, you saved my life. Like, your album saved my life. Thank you so much, because I was in a really dark place and, you know, a lot of negative stuff. Mm-hmm. And your album's changed my life. Like, thank you for everything you've done for me. You know, you get a message like that and it's like, whoa, it's a lot.
Where do you get those messages? Is it Instagram nowadays?
Instagram, letters, all sorts of stuff, yeah. You get things and it's just like, well, emails, you know, it's kind of, it's so touching and it's so amazing that, you know, my music can help someone like that. Like, that's, you know, one of the reasons why you do it, I guess.
Rather Be was in 2014, I guess. It's 4 years ago now. And how has life changed for you since then?
It's changed a lot, you know. I've obviously grown a lot, both musically and, you know, personally. I think a lot has changed in my life. You know, I don't live that same normal life that I did 4 years ago. Obviously. Which is a blessing and also not so much, you know, in a weird way. But it's, you know, I wouldn't change it for the world. You know, it's so amazing that I can say in that 4 years, you know, I've had an album out. I've had, you know, success with touring the world, and, you know, I'm able to sit here and say I'm doing my second album, and I'm, you know, I'm really grateful for the position I'm in. I've had like some amazing success just this year, and I haven't even released my album yet. So yeah, it's all just amazing, you know, and I couldn't be more grateful for everybody who supports me, and I can't believe still 4 years on, people are still
you say it's getting easier?
Supportive. No.
Like from promo tour to promo tour, or are you still as nervous?
Yeah, it's still really nerve-wracking, and it's like the industry's changed so much since my first album that I feel like I'm doing it all over again. It's like album one again, you know, and it's that same feeling that I had at the very beginning.
But that's good, actually.
Which is good, I guess. It's humbling. Yeah.
I watched some interviews on YouTube with you, and what I thought was that you always seem so tough, and so are your songs. Like, I always feel, I don't know if it's your strong voice or your emotions, but everything sounds so powerful, like you would sing your soul out, kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
tough,
how do you...
well, angry.
Not angry, not angry, just strong, powerful.
Strong, powerful.
Not angry at all, no.
I was going to say, I hope I don't come across that.
I was just wondering, how do you get your inspiration from? Like, when do you say, okay, I'm going to sit down and write a song about that now?
It's weird because I think I am a very opinionated person. I think I hold a lot of values, and I think that when it comes to like writing and creating, I'm very. I think because I'm very in touch with my emotions. I'm quite an emotional person. I think that's where I put. I guess when I come to write the music, I like to put kind of a message in it. I think like I can feel very weak and vulnerable because I'm so in touch with my emotions, and I think the way that I make myself feel stronger is in my music. Weirdly, I don't know why, but I know that I hold values that are like strong, and I like to feel that, you know, as a woman it's important to not feel like you're the minority, and that, you know, what you say is just as important as anyone else. Obviously, you know, women haven't always had that platform and people haven't always listened. So for me, it's like to be able to have the platform that I have and to do what I love and be honest and real, I think it all kind of bodes quite well together.
So what kind of songwriter type are you? Because I think there are two types, like the one who observe people, who tell stories, and the self-therapist, if I can say so.
I'm definitely a self-therapist. Yeah, 100%.
All right.
Especially with this album, this second album. I mean, and the first album. I mean, that album, you know, I was going through a mad change in my life, and, you know, I'd gone through an awful breakup, and, you know, it was definitely a self-help kind of album for me, you know, seeing like the hopeful side when you're feeling so negative. And I feel like this album, again, it's so honest, and maybe even more so than the first album, and vulnerable, and I think it's, you know, a maturer version of me, but it's probably the best representation of where I'm at in my life right now.
Let's talk about that second album, Always in Between.
Yeah.
It's coming out on 21st
of September.
21st of September.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the title at first?
I guess after like what I've just said, really, you know, my life was so all over the place, you know, over the past few years. Like, well, not all over the place, but it's been very here and very there. And I think I struggled a lot with, you know, accepting how to deal with that, and how to have like a Jessica life and a Jess Glynne life. And I felt like it all needed to be one, and that there was no in between. It was like, why nothing made sense at certain points. And I think that it got to a point where I was like, okay, you know what? It's okay to do this and to do that, and to have this relationship with my family and my friends, but when I'm working, to have this relationship, you know? And I think it's really like difficult at times to maintain those relationships. And I think I'm such a people pleaser that I struggled a lot with keeping people happy, but also keeping myself happy.
You can't say no.
Yeah,
so
I struggle with that. Yeah, because obviously, you know, your friends and your family, you know, well, for me, are like the people who make you. You know, they're the ones that are there through thick and thin. And I guess I struggled with like that kind of balance between the two. And for a long time, I just didn't say no. Whereas I think on the journey to writing this album, I've learned to accept that I am just as important, and I need to look after myself. And I guess this whole chapter is like a learning curve of self-acceptance, and just dealing with, you know, that moment, and like thinking I need to put myself first rather than always putting everyone else before me. And actually that's not a bad thing, you know. I think that's been a lot to do with the title of the album.
But you're still learning. It's a process.
It's 100%. I think you learn your whole life, you know.
Yes, you
I
do.
think you never stop learning with things like that. And also, I guess, for me, you know, the pressures of looking perfect, being perfect, saying yes, saying no, what's right, what's wrong. I think all of those things come into Always in Between as well. It's like, you know, maybe there doesn't need to be an answer, and actually being in between isn't feeling lost. It's actually just how it is, and everyone has that in between moment in their life. And I think it's a part of life, you know, and I think it's not something to feel lost in. It's something that you just go with.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That was so deep, Jess.
Sorry.
That was so deep.
I'm a bit deep, sorry. I am a bit deep.
Yeah,
See what
no,
I mean?
it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Sorry.
Without the bad things, nothing good can happen.
Exactly, yeah, you know, I agree.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry, I'm going a bit deep.
No, it's fine. I like that. Those are our therapy chairs here.
There you go.
Yeah. What's the biggest difference between the first album musically? Like, what has changed most?
And this album?
Yeah.
I would say that this album's a lot. It's a lessened production. I think the music's a lot more stripped back.
Okay.
I think it's more about the vocal and the delivery and the message, I think, more than anything, which I love. It's not so upbeat as the last record. Like, it's still got, you know, I am a very hopeful, happy person.
Yes.
But I think it's a lot less dancey and in your face like that.
Yeah, you have many soul, almost funk songs on the first album.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Ain't
it's
Got
not
Far
as
to
much.
Go and all that, but it's amazing for the stage.
I think this
Those
album's
songs.
still completely soulful because that's who I am as an artist, and I love that music. But I think it's definitely less in the like funk world and the dance world.
Let's talk about your first single, "I'll Be There."
Yeah.
What's the story behind, in your own words?
So I'll Be There's just a song. It's quite a personal song. It's between. Basically, my friend was going through an awful time last year, and she kind of turned to my album. Somebody that I wasn't necessarily best friends with, somebody that I've worked with. She's a songwriter, and I'd worked with her a couple of times, and we'd become really like cool. Anyway, and she turned to my album when she was going through this awful heartbreak, and she was just like, "Thank you so much for helping me heal. I didn't realise how deep your album went lyrically and what you had gone through. But the hopeful messages that you have consistently throughout the album have just like made me see the light." And it was quite an emotional moment that we had when she spoke to me, and we came really close over that period of time because I was going through something myself actually, and we kind of helped each other through it. And when it came to writing a lot for this album towards the end of last year, she came down to this house that I'd kind of rented for a week to write the record. And she came down on the last day, and I was in one of the other rooms like finishing some stuff off because it was like the last day and we didn't have much time. And I came into the room and she'd started this idea, and she was like, "Can I play it to you? Just see if you like it. We've only just started it, blah, blah, blah." I listened to it, and it was the like, "When all the tears are rolling down your face, oh, I'll be there." And I was like, I'd literally heard like the first, like it was what, about 30 seconds or something, and I just had tears rolling down my face. And I was like, "Have you written that for me?" And she was like, "Yeah." And then and then she said, "You know, do you love the song? Do you want to work on it?" And I said, "Yeah." So we carried on and we finished it, and it was like a really beautiful moment.
But that's interesting what you're saying, because of the house thing. Like, you rent the house just to write the album, or was it just in general just writing songs?
No, so I rented the house because I wanted to just have a really organic feel to create. I wanted to like not be in a studio, not be in an environment that was pressurized. I wanted to be in an environment where everybody felt relaxed and felt like they could just be who they wanted to be, get to know me on a personal level and understand what it was that I wanted to achieve through this album, and also not feel like they had to write a hit or a smash or whatever any fucking record label wants to call it, you know, and just feel like they could just write really good music.
Welshly Arms did exactly the same thing.
Who?
Welshly Arms, legendary. So it's gonna be a legend.
Why don't I know who that is?
You don't know them?
Who?
Shame on you, Jess.
I know.
Shame
what?
on you.
Wait, should I know this? Who's this?
It's
What?
fine,
Say that
it's
name
fine.
again.
Legendary, Welshly Arms.
Welshly
From
Arms.
Ohio, Cleveland.
What? I don't know.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
that's
matter. And they
sad.
just rent a house and just to write songs for the album, because they said we need this surroundings, and just grab a coffee, get something to eat, and then we come back and write again.
It was such an amazing experience. Like, honestly, I could say it's one of the best experiences of my life in my working world. You know, like it was just the best people that like I work so well with, and the most honest, real people, you know, and to be able to just chill, eat good food, make music, and, you know, have fun
And you didn't have pressure.
Yeah, that was the most important thing, I think.
So creativity needs time.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It can't be told.
Who's the first person to show new songs? Who are you thinking about at first?
Sorry, say that again.
When you're writing new songs, who's the first one to show them?
Who do I show them to first?
Yeah.
Probably my best mate, Jolene. She's always like a good, because she's around quite a lot, because I work with her. She's always the person that I look to for approval.
All right.
I'll play her a song and be like, is it worth going? And she's like, I love it. Or nah.
What about your family?
Yeah, I do play to my family, but they have a different vision, I think. It's not, I don't know. Yeah, it's different.
What's your mom's favorite song from you, when I can ask that?
I don't know, I've never asked her. I'll ask her, I'll find out.
Yeah, ask her.
I've never actually asked her. I don't actually know. I will find out though.
What do you think when you first heard These Days? Because I think Dan Caplen wrote it. Was it right? Mm-hmm. And then you all met in the studio. How was that?
Yeah, it was really cool. I heard the song and I didn't really understand why they wanted me on it. I was so, into the song and thought, it sounds great as it is. And I understood why they wanted to have a female vocal on there once they explained it to me. And once I recorded it, it worked out so well. But at first, I thought it sounded amazing as it was. But I did understand, and I'm so glad that I got to be a part of it, because it feels so right the way it is now, with everybody on it. I feel like the emotional journey of the record feels very complete now.
Yeah. It wouldn't sound like that without you.
It just sounds different.
I saw your performance on BBC Big Weekend, I think it was 2016, also on YouTube. And what came up to my mind was, you have to be kind of an entertainer on stage. Is that something you've given? Is that something you have?
Or naturally?
You just learn naturally, something that comes naturally?
I wasn't naturally a performer. No.
Is it learning by doing?
It's learning by doing, 100%. I've always been really stage fright. Really stage frightened.
Don't ask me.
I don't know. Yeah, you're not English. Yeah, I don't know the word. I've always had really bad stage fright. I've always suffered with it. And when I was writing years ago, like before I signed my deal and everything, like you hear stories, like people such as Ed Sheeran and things, and how many gigs they used to do, and all these open mic nights, and I never did that. I was very shy. I was very insecure. Mm-hmm. I didn't have that ability to just jump on stage. That came to me after I kind of found who I was as an artist and in my music. But yeah, it took me a while to kind of get used to being on stage. Even now, it's still like not something that's necessarily natural. I love it more than anything. I've mastered my craft, I reckon, to a certain extent. But yeah, it isn't something that ever comes naturally. I still do have moments where I'm standing on stage and I'm looking at everyone thinking, why are you staring at me?
What are you telling yourself in that moment before entering stage?
I don't know. I just have to say, go and enjoy yourself. You're with your family on stage. Everybody's here because they want you to win, and just have fun.
Yeah, that's a good attitude.
No one's coming to see you because they want you to see you fail, are they? That's how I have to tell myself.
No,
exactly.
And even the worst case is not
we're all
worse
human.
enough.
Yeah.
What song do you love most performing live? Is there anything?
Song do I love performing live? At the moment, I love performing I'll Be There. It's definitely at the moment. It's new. And it just feels really epic. I don't know, there's something about the song that just feels really epic. I don't know what it is. It's just very like, when I'm on stage, I get these like goosebumps. When it gets to like the last chorus, it's quite an amazing feeling.
Okay.
It's not often you get that with songs.
Do you see a difference between the different audience? Like, everybody wants to hear when you're in Germany, when you're in France or in Finland.
Yeah.
They want to know, is the German audience special? Is the French audience special?
I think
is there actually a difference?
Yeah, there's definitely a difference, yeah.
Yes.
I also think sometimes there's a difference, especially when you come to Europe because of the language barrier. And sometimes, you talk on stage and people are a bit like, huh?
What is she saying?
Yeah, what is she saying? But the crowds are just as amazing, I think every crowd is different. I can't lie. It is different. Mm-hmm. But it's exciting in every place I go because that's what makes the gig, If they were all the same, it'd be really boring,
I know. I can understand. I can understand. What's on the plan for the year? Like, what comes next?
So the album comes out in September. I've got a lot of promo, I think, going on around the world. Prior to that and after. And then also I start my tour in November in the UK. So once that starts, I'm sure that will go from the UK to Europe to America. So a lot of touring plans for the end of the year through to next year.
So you're coming to us too?
I'm coming here, yeah. I think I've got about 5 dates in Germany.
All right.
So yeah, I'll definitely be coming here. I'm just not sure when yet. It's just not confirmed, but definitely be coming.
Okay, we're excited for that.
I can't wait to come back. It's been a while since I came here.
Last question, Jess.
Yeah.
If you could be the big boss of music business like for one day, what would you do for artists?
What would I do for artists? That's a good question, you know. I like that.
I like that you like that.
If I could be the big boss for artists for one day, what would
let's say a week, like one day is very
What would I
very
do?
hard.
Well, if I could for a period of time, what would I do? I think I would I think if you were the boss of like a situation like that, you'd want to get to know an artist, understand what it is that they want to achieve and what their biggest dreams are, and then you'd want to know exactly how they think they can achieve it, and then I'd want to offer my advice and help that journey begin if they was just starting out. But if they was already famous, and already doing it on a big scale, I guess I would ask them, what is it that you haven't received from me or from a record label before that you really, really want? And I will grant your wish.
So you would be sensitive?
I would be sensitive,
and empathic, is it?
Empathetic.
Empathetic.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because you often get told, oh no, you can't do this, or you know what, you need to compromise on a lot of things. And I think maybe if I could do for a day, let an artist do what they really, really wanted for their song to best represent them in the way that they wanted it to be done, I would allow it.
All right. Thank you, Jess.
That's okay.
That's it.
No worries.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. It's been good talking to you.
Yeah, it's been good talking to you. Was
Thank
it
you.
okay? How
Yeah,
are
all
you?
good. Yeah, perfect.
Feeling good?
Yeah.